The Soul Redeemer, Chapter 14a, Python. Nicole was learning to fly with her new wings, and IS was very unhappy. This was not supposed to be happening. She was fasting and praying and obeying the wrong God. She was learning that she had power and authority over evil spirits and was not only casting them out, but was teaching others about their power and authority as well. She was giving away his secrets about broken hearts, and people were forgiving all over the place and getting their hearts healed, which was shutting the door on his workers. Something had to be done. He considered trying to drive a wedge between Jake and Nicole, but that had backfired too many times and had brought about the opposite effect. He couldn't even use Jake's lack in the understanding of Nicole's calling against them because Jake had been watching the fruit in the lives of the women who were coming to her for help and had come to believe that even though he didn't completely understand it, this ministry was valid and important. No, he needed something new and decided to enlist ideas from some of his cohorts, so he called a meeting of the High Council. The stench in the courtroom was foul and became fouler with the arrival of each demonic entity. Even though this was not a formal hearing, IS sat behind the judge's bench to remind all the others who was in charge. There was a tendency for them to all think that they were the highest and mightiest, but in this case he was top dog, under Lucifer, of course. When they were all in attendance, he called the meeting to order. I assume you all got the memo concerning the reason for this meeting. I hope you've come prepared with thoughts and ideas that will help me find a way to shut down Nicole's ministry. I now open the floor to comments. The room erupted into chaos as they all began talking at once, believing that they had the best and only answer. IS stood from his high bench, casting a fierce shadow over the room, and banged his gavel down so hard that the room reverberated as if a great earthquake was taking place. The effect was immediate, and when it was quiet, he said, "One at a time, as I acknowledge you, you peons." IS listened to each suggestion. Death and Destruction offered to burn their house down at night while they were in it, or to kill Nicole in a car accident. Others offered suggestions, but nothing pleased him. As he looked around the room, IS noticed Python sitting coiled and still. Divination, you are very quiet. Have you nothing to offer? Python coiled himself up a little tighter, and then lazily began to stretch himself out while he hissed, "Ah, contraire, your highness." His forked tongue darted in and out as he tasted the air in delightful anticipation. "I have been listening to these imbeciles with their brainless ideas and have been thinking of something a little more subtle but deadly." IS quieted the room down as murmurs were beginning to sound against Python's insults, and then he said, "Please do share. I am intrigued." Python raised his head a little higher and began. "There is a woman named Trisha who is in our service, your highness. We are very strong in her, and she is an acquaintance of the one we recently lost, known as Brandy." Loud hissing and cursing exploded at the mention of their loss, and IS banged his gavel, giving the floor back to Python. IS knew Trisha well, for she belonged to him. "She has also become a Christian." IS banged the gavel before more noise erupted in response to the repulsive name, and Python continued. "I propose that we introduce Trisha to Nicole through Brandy, get her to help deliver this poor bound woman from the clutches of the enemy. I have foreseen a union of friendship through which we may be able to take advantage." The insolent smile that was beginning to form on the face of His Highness told Python that he had done well. "I am pleased. Make it so." Is banged the gavel as a sign of dismissal and sat contemplating the delicious taste of victory.